looks good. And
How
then...
about now, man?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Wait,
All right.
nice. Nice.
Oh
Nothing
man.
like the 11th hour right now.
What was that?
I said nothing like getting in at the 11th hour, right?
Oh, no, that's classic Rushu. Like, doing it live.
Cool.
Oh.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, look, sweet. Oh.
Guava jelly.
I'm this far away. Can you guys hear me okay still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool.
Alright, why is this not working?
Oh, I see you're live on Instagram now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I see it on my side.
Uh-oh. Yes,
think-
you are.
What's it look like over there?
Blank.
Oh, it's blank. Okay, that's not good. Alright. Cool. Alright.
Can you switch our special guest? We just have a phone icon.
Oh, let's see. There we go. There we go. Alright. Everybody's in there.
Woo! Nice.
Look at that majestic beard.
Right?
The bigger his beard gets, the more power he obtains.
Hey, I just trimmed it this morning, man.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to Roodiculous Stories from the Farm, Volume 1. This is the Parachute People's attempt to recreate some of the, memorable or maybe forgotten moments from Roo's Gone Past. I know a lot of us are missing that, the opportunity to sit in our car for hours waiting to get in, or, sweating bullets in the midday sun of Tennessee. But we're gonna just try and celebrate Bonnaroo right here together on Instagram. Safely socially distanced from one another. So yeah, tonight, Ron, do you want to do some intros?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but first, let's do a little check-in. Where is everyone calling from? Casey, where are you reporting live?
So I'm Casey, one of the Parachute People. I'm calling in from Boston, Massachusetts. It's a nice town. It's kind of far from where I used to be. I moved recently from Columbus. I was there with Ron, where we have been working on Parachute People things for a long time and making the trip down to Bonnaroo for many years.
Yeah, nice. I'm Ron. I'm reporting from Columbus, Ohio, and this has been a long thing in the making, and it's really cool to get some of the most visible Bonnaroo people together for these successive for each of these nights. We brought together a nice collection of talent here, and it wouldn't have been a real experience if we wouldn't have these three people in my mind here. I want to go start with the people in like this neon like electric club looking thing. There's three of you there. Let's start with this crew. Yeah.
You guys are a riot sometimes. Yeah, so you guys know us, but I guess we can introduce yourselves. You go first.
I'm Charla. I'm Brooklyn.
I'm Daniel, and we're inside the belly of the Root Bus in Huntsville, Alabama right now. Yeah, about an hour away from the farm, where I regret to tell everyone that the weather was beautiful today. It was in the low 80s with very little humidity.
Lots of wind. It
cool breeze right now, a little past 8 o'clock.
Man.
Sun's starting to go down. It's today hasn't necessarily been a sad day, but it's still been a difficult day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we're inside the Roo bus. This thing had a long history and tradition at Bonnaroo long before we drove it around, and it will continue to after it goes to somebody else one of these days. We're just the current caretakers. And you know us, we like to get our hands dirty with anything and everything we can try.
Awesome. We got a man in some alien glasses and a water buffalo hat. Who we got over here?
That would be me, I guess. Yeah. So I'm Chris Alexander, but you guys probably know me better as Bonnaroo Chris. It's really awesome to see all of these Bonnaroo faces together in one space. And happy June, everybody.
That's right.
Good to be here. By the way, I'm reporting from Sarasota, Florida, where the humidity is about 1,000%.
Woo! Woo!
And the mosquitoes are alive and ready for you to come visit.
Heck yeah. And if you guys are tuning in to Instagram after this or whenever, we're doing a little giveaway thanks to Bonnaroo Chris. Share your favorite Roo memory, as simple as that, and we're going to go select one lucky person to get this really cool Bonnaroo swag bag from circa 2016. Right, Chris?
That's right. Little goodies. You got the magic 8-ball and a pack of Bonnaroo playing cards.
Unopened.
It's the handy little Bonnaroo bag.
Nice.
It's yours for the taking. Whoever.
Thanks, Chris. And last but not least, we have a last-minute guest here. You may see his work all over Facebook and Instagram in just this iconic black and gray photography. We have none other than David Bruce.
What's going on, man?
Where are you
I'm sorry?
Where are you tuning in from?
Okay, so I actually just checked into a hotel room probably 40 minutes ago. I'm just north of Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm actually from upstate New York, and I got up bright and early this morning, jumped in my car, drove for over 12 hours,
Woo!
and figured if I was going to be able to be a part of this, I better get off the highway and check into a hotel and see if I could get this done on my cell phone. So here we go.
Love it. This is awesome. Glad to have you here.
If Bonnaroo Chris is giving stuff away, I want those green glasses.
They're yours, buddy. They're all yours. I'll send them to you.
We'll barter. We'll do a swap.
Deal.
All right, man.
Do some pictures with him in those big glasses next time we're on the farm.
And
It's like Bono glasses, but they're green.
Bono, all right, pop quiz. What year was that headliner?
17.
Wow, Bono.
I'm not going to forget that because U2 is one of my favorite bands ever, and we waited 7 hours to get in the pit that day.
Oh, man. Yeah, those headliners, you got to be in there for as long as you're willing to hold it.
You don't have to hold it. The porta potties are right next to the line.
Yeah, that's true.
We're amongst friends. They'll save your spot.
All right. Well, cool. Should we get started with some stories then? Who wants to start? Yeah? All right. Cool. Bonnaroo, Chris. Yeah. Let's hear what you got.
So I got a couple things I just want to touch on. First of all, one of the strangest things that's happened to me on my way to Bonnaroo was in 2008. I was on the interstate in Florida with my buddy Mike, and we came upon an SUV in the middle lane of the interstate, and it was on fire, like full-blown fire. There was a bunch of other cars and stuff pulled off, so we opted not to linger. But yeah, that was really bizarre and crazy. And so, getting to Bonnaroo, let's see. One of the times the first band I saw in 2012 was an act called EMA. And so we sat down on the ground, and found $20.
The farm provides.
So that paid for the first round of ice cold beers that day. Yeah, that was good. I also want to give a shout out. I don't think we talked much about enough about the Super Jam in 2018, the Tom Petty Super Jam. That was like biblical. That was really moving.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just gonna linger on that for a minute.
here. So we're gonna do our best to interact with those who are like tuning in live. People have been saying my mic is up. How am I sounding now? Can you? Because some people are saying it's hard to hear us all.
Okay, so we might all need to speak up a little bit. Let me see if I can do anything about that.
We can barely hear Daniel. I'm apparently in a well, so.
Be careful what you ask for. I can be very loud.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, don't let us use our parachute voices. We can on a dime.
Okay, so we might all need to speak up a little bit.
But hey Chris, so it's funny that you mentioned a burning car on your way into Bonnaroo, because I feel like every year there's always one person that doesn't fill their gas tank while in line. You always see just a group of people just like trudging and pushing in the neutral. And I mean, raise your hand if you've at least seen that one time. I saw that definitely in 2014.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think it was Bonnaroo 15. This was before we had the bus. Charlotte and I were in line, getting close to Bushy Branch, like on the edge of the interstate, and we saw some guys that had walked up to the gas station that's on the corner up there.
You turn in, and they were riding a giant thing of PBR all the way from there back to the gate. Like, they must have had at least a dozen cases. There was a guy that was just having the time of his life driving the cart of PBR.
Solid priorities right there. Solid.
David, do you have any crazy stories on your way in? Any ridiculous amount of time sitting in traffic? What's it like for you?
The first year I went, we sat in a really hellacious line, and actually the first time I went to Bonnaroo was just a comedy of errors because of course I've never been before. I hadn't talked to anybody that had ever gone before. I didn't take the time to read the RU information stuff, which is vital. So I went in there, drastically unprepared. I drove down with a guy from Long Island. It took us 19 hours driving all through the night just to get in that line and just wait literally for hours. It was mind-boggling. We're both nodding off in the car, as the cars are creeping forward. And that was 10 years ago. It was 2011. And it was probably the hottest year easily that I've ever been there. Temperatures were close to 100 degrees. That's when we had the big dust bowl thing going on. And we must have looked pathetic to all of our tent neighbors because we really didn't know what we were doing. We didn't even have a canopy. We had to take the tarp that we brought for the tent, and we had to rig it up to the open lid of the truck. And we finally got the campsite set up at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it was just sweltering heat. You couldn't go in the tent and lay down and to catch some Z's. And at that point, I was saying to myself, I can't. What did I get myself into for 4 days here? But I can tell you this: by the end of the first night, which was literally 10 years ago today, I remember leaving one of the tent stages after seeing Band of Skulls, and I knew exactly the reason why I went there. And the weekend was epic. I mean, it was just, I got back to New York feeling like a revived person, to say the least. And that was 10 years ago. So. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that. I was just floored by the whole experience right out of the gate. It was actually very overwhelming, you know. So, but you know, one of the things that I was very unprepared for was I thought, you know, I'm going to go down there and take some photos, and I'm a film photographer, so you know, I started thinking, what do I want the pictures to look like? You know, I kind of want it to look like Woodstock, so I brought a 1960s era Nikon film camera with me, and I think I brought like 2 rolls of film. You know, and then, you know, fast forward to last year, and I've got 6 camera bodies with me and, you know, 30 rolls of film, you know. So live and learn, you know.
Oh. So, David, your first Bonnaroo was 2011, as is Casey's.
So, that's correct, yep.
And the Rubus people, I know there's a few of you in there. I'm more of the newer school of Bonnaroovian fans. So I started in 2014. How about the Rubus? What's going on over there?
Charlotte and I were 1 year behind you. 13 was our first year, which is funny because Charlotte and I talked about going for years.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to go, like, I remember I really wanted to go in 2011 because I was obsessed with Arcade Fire at the time. It's still one of my favorite bands. I've seen them a couple of times now. But it was, of course, Paul McCartney that finally gave us no reason to not go, you know. And, you know, it's funny that David mentioned that a minute ago about how you're a little intimidated when you first get there.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Thursday night, my first year in 2013, I definitely felt that. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was wearing the wrong clothes. I was really unprepared. I remember trying to go see Father John Misty that night and just being totally inexperienced at how to navigate the crowd. And I thought to myself, like, oh, I don't know. What have I gotten myself into? You know, at least I'll try this once. But then over the next couple of nights, and especially at that McCartney show, it was just like something just like washes over you when you realize, like, oh, I get this. This is amazing. And all the things that were maybe a little annoying to you before are just like part of it. And you even appreciate those little moments of like stepping over people that are laying down in the grass and stuff like that. It just becomes second nature to you. What do you think, Charles?
Great.
Brooklyn, what year did you go?
My first year was 2017. I didn't get the intimidation at all. I mean, part of it was because I was with these guys, and they were, you know, already Bonnaroo vets. So I went, and when we pulled up, we were in this cute little camper, and we pulled up, and I looked out the window, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, guys, check out those people's bus!" And Tammy, the original owner, she was yelling at me, and she was like, "You guys park by us!" So we ended up parking by them, and then like it just became a party, and I was just ultimately happy. And before that, like, I had suffered from depression, and then they took me to Bonnaroo, and it was just instant.
Yeah.
And I can't even explain it.
All it was fate.
It was so great.
And she has no idea how spoiled she was that first year.
Yeah.
I had wanted for years to see U2. And then she just walks up and gets to see U2 like it's nothing. And then Chili Peppers the next night. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I had never been to a concert until 2 months before Bonnaroo that year. They took me to an Explosions in the Sky concert in Birmingham. And then after that, I had Bonnaroo. So that was like, they opened my eyes to a whole different world. It was just the best thing ever.
Bam. Get you off.
It was so great. I got to see my favorite band, Rainbow Kin Surprise, and like probably my favorite Bonnaroo memory.
Something about RKS really quick. That year, I've heard through the grapevine and actually ran into one of the band members at another festival in Michigan. Those people played with the parachute, and like they said that was one of their favorite memories. And I'm like, I can't believe one of the dudes from RKS. Was it the bassist? I don't really know, but
so funny story. I was at a Space News concert back in February, And we went to the after party to celebrate what's her name? His girlfriend's birthday, whatever. And I forgot her name. But it was at this venue, and I was sitting outside, like in this hallway, just chilling. And I look up, and I see a man that looked very familiar. And turns out it was Charlie, the bass player from Rainbow Kitten Surprise. And I walk up to him, and I lose my shit. Like I start crying. And I was like, I was the person there with the Ricky the Cat totem at Bonnaroo. I was there for like 3 of your shows. I love you so much. And he was like, I remember the Ricky the Cat totem. Bonnaroo was amazing. We go every year and we camp. They like camp in tents. They're just so down to earth and just chill people.
That's awesome. And
oh, it was the best day of my life.
That's an awesome segue because Bonnaroo Chris, you are known for just frolicking around and like you've become like a real life Where's Waldo. so much that one of my first friends that I made at Bonnaroo, Sean Wilkie, I'm gonna give him a forever shout out because like he was the one that helped perpetuate this legend of Bonnaroo Chris. Because I mean I've never been to Bonnaroo in 2014 and like I searched the hashtags and there's this guy Chris, like Bonnaroo Chris. He comes prepared with the Bonnaroo Chris like checklist of the must-dos, do-nots of like what to pack. And if you've never seen this, it's on his website. He is like the most like practical guide for like all things beginner Bonnaroo. And Chris, I have to ask you, have there been any like really cool run-ins of any artists you've seen frolicking through the farm?
Oh yeah, for sure. I ran into Margaret Cho one time. She was I didn't even know she was performing there, to be honest. But yeah, I just ran into her in Santa Rood in the like shopping district, I guess. I guess my favorite celebrity encounter though has to be Bob Saget when he made fun of me.
Tell us that story.
This is it's funny because I got up front. I was VIP that year, and so I sat up close. I sat up front, but I left. I wanted to leave to get a good seat for Tame Impala. And I've done stand-up comedy and I know it's really rude, but I left his set early. And because I was sitting close, he noticed. Like he was like, all right, where are you going? And the crowd laughed and I grabbed my chair, you know, I'm fully equipped. And he's like, oh, you got the whole trailer park, taking that with you too? And he kept making fun of me. And it's funny. I didn't engage him because, you know, that's not going to turn out well for me. And I left and I went and set up for Tame Impala and they were late. And so I found out later that right after I left, Bob Saget brought out John Stamos and they did a duet and I missed it. And
oh no.
So fuck you, Tame Impala.
It's funny because that Bob Saget version, you know, is not the Bob Saget from Full House. It's a much raunchier.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he's very funny and not at all Full House. But it makes for a great story. I'm honored to be made fun of by Bob Saget. Who better to make fun of me? That's an honor. I love it. Best Bonnaroo gift ever.
Well, it sounds like you kept your cool. I always told myself that, you know, when I'd meet someone that I, you know, whether it was an artist or a celebrity, I would be really cool and, you know, just kind of hang out. And that never happens, though. You know, any encounter that I've had, whether it's, you know, a musician or an artist or, you know, an actor, I've always like, oh, like, you know, you guys were saying, I just kind of, you know, lose all everything that you had prepared for. You're just like, oh, this is amazing.
My buddy got a high five from Jack Black as he was going by on a golf cart.
Oh wow. Oh, my only golf cart encounter, like, because they whiz by and you always know, like, if they're not serving beer and trying to get ice to a vendor, it's like some sort of talent or VIP role like a rock star. I saw who was it? Daryl from The Office. Who was that? that can be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, did a double take, and he turned around and was like, "Yep, hey man, that's me."
Now, Ron, wait a minute. I saw a photo of you hanging out with Closey. Like, how did that
Oh.
occur?
He's
Oh,
so cool.
yeah.
Yeah. If so, Closey played. That was what, 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That she did a secret set of Calliope, and over the years, I was able to get to know the people in Walter Productions, because at Calliope, people will go to the morning and they'll just party, and they always have a cleanup. So every year, like, I just always hung out and cleaned up, like, just get to know the actual people. And that year they invited me back, and Closey was chilling behind the scenes getting ready for her set, and I just, you know what, took the chance, and I was like, I'm just gonna approach it. I'm just like some nobody. I'm just gonna.
Played it cool, though, right?
I have a little tiny hand, and I was like, Closey, can I give you a gift? I gave her a little tiny hand and got a little photo of it, and that's how I met this amazing French DJ. Tiny hands for the win.
Amazing. Have you heard her new song?
Oh yeah.
So
Man.
good. I'm ready for her album.
I'm ready to see her live again.
Yes.
Yeah. We have some people tuning in from the comments, and I want to try to make sure that we're looking out here. We have a hello from Church Boners. So,
Hey.
Is it the naked guy?
so Church Boners, I really want that they need to be a guest on this, because I just want to know the history of Church Boners. I see their pop-up tent right in front of the Bonnaroo Arch, rest in peace. They are just like a landmark, and like if I see Church Boners, like, all right, cool, I know I'm like near like awesome people. Like, I don't know anyone there. Do you guys know anyone in the Church Boners camp?
There's somebody that lives in Huntsville from Church Boners, right?
Yeah.
We were driving the bus out around here last summer, and a lady came up to us and she's like, "Oh, I know you guys. You probably know us too. We're in Church Boners. We have the naked guy on Sunday nights." And I'm like, "Yes, I know you guys well."
And that's what I love about this community so much. Like, we're just like, if you just see them around, it's like immediate family. And like, you guys here, like Chris, I've only actually like met you in person maybe twice, but we interact so much on Instagram. David Bruce, like, you're always on my feed. I love seeing all the photos you put up. Like, if anyone, you have a lot of cool, I'm sure you have a lot of cool stories of like people you've interacted with. Like, can you share some of the awesome moments you've had over the years?
As far as interacting with people?
Yeah, like, what's the most wild outfit, the most wild, just candid moment? Because I know a lot of the stuff you see is like, some of it's posed, but also some of it's very just ambient.
Yeah. I would have to say that one of the most random things I've ever seen was a guy just strolling through Center Row wearing nothing but a Dunkin' Donuts apron.
2014.
Yeah, and I was actually sitting down talking to a couple of the people that I was with, and I very much regret not just chasing him down and snapping a few frames. But people dress up for Bonnaroo, and it's almost like it's kind of like a Mardi Gras in a way, and everybody just looks fantastic. But you're not expecting to see some dude just strolling through Center Row wearing nothing but a Dunkin' Donuts apron with his ass hanging out, barefoot and everything.
When you said that, I thought you said he was just wearing a Dunkin' Donut.
Yeah, well, I don't know what was under the apron, man, but and that was by broad daylight. So I want to say that was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It wasn't even after the golden hour or anything, So,
I saw that same guy.
Did you?
Yeah, 2014. I'm actually scrolling through right now. Maybe it's the same guy, but maybe it's a Dunkin' Donut bro. I don't know.
Here, send me the pic, Rod. I'll put it up.
Okay.
Is it a brown apron?
Oh yeah. White dude. Skinny white dude.
Yeah.
Might be the guy.
I mean, how many other people are going to do that?
A lot.
A lot.
I have a question
But-
for you, David. So I mean,
Yeah.
we see your pictures. We see, you kind of just like capture the people of Bonnaroo. What, I guess, like, which are the moments that you're like, oh yes, this is what I want to capture, or I guess, like, what inspires you to select a certain image or moment?
So basically, my favorite photos that I've taken at Bonnaroo specifically are always the ones that are not posed. Somebody's not just standing there smiling at the camera. It's me actually capturing a moment. And, I'm not just saying this because, Ron's on board here, but man, I got to tell you, that image that I caught of him at the Lumineers set last year with that group of people, wow. I mean, what a moment. It was unbelievable. I didn't even know what was happening in that moment, and I had goosebumps. It was one of the most real things that I've ever seen. And I mean, I got probably 5 or 6 just fantastic frames from that. And every time I look at those, I just think they get better. I mean, it's just such a real thing,
David, my favorite photo that you've taken was one from, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. There was a girl on the rail at a Japanese breakfast show, and you could just see so much emotion in her face. It wasn't that she was crying. There was like 5 or 6 different emotions. And I feel like everybody has that when you go see your favorite artist. Like, if I'm on the rail for Tame Impala, I'm going to be looking like that. Everybody's got that act. That was it for her,
Yeah. You know what's ironic about that is, one of the coolest things for me is, I never really get to meet most of the people that I take photos of. It's usually just a fleeting moment. And of course, that particular shot, I was in the pit and, music was playing. So, I didn't even know her name, but somebody recognized her, months later after I posted the photo, tagged her. And ironically enough, I crossed paths with her last year, which was actually really cool. I mean, she was just hanging out over by the Witch stage with a group of people. And, I get to talk to her a little bit about that image and, what it's done for me. I actually have that photo framed in my living room. It's like 24 by 36 inches big.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually been in an exhibit up in Albany, New York. So, and I've messaged her a couple of times, and, I think I'm more thankful for that than she is, and she's very appreciative of it. But, again, that's just a real moment, I mean, you can't script that stuff.
That's beautiful.
Those photos, I would love to do a post on the Parachute People page of like all the things we talk about here, like the memories we have. Like if you have like a photo to kind of like share, like we would love to feature it. And Chris, like all of your memories too. Like let's get a nice little recap from this conversation. I actually have the photo here. I'm gonna try to send it over to Casey, but this is probably gonna be very poor quality. But
we'll work it out. Yeah.
Is this the dunk guy?
Oh. That's great.
Yep. That was my first room. That's the Dunkin' Donuts guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was also wearing an apron, and that's how we just bonded.
So I think one thing that we can all probably attest to is that we've all made mistakes at Bonnaroo. There are things that we didn't prepare for, or things that happened that we weren't sure were going to happen, and we've learned our lessons. But I'd love to hear some of your stories of mistakes that you've made and what you've done to try to correct those. And we can start with Bonnaroo Chris, if you got a story.
Well, I mean, everybody's first year, I think, is the worst, right? And mine is no exception. I was so underprepared. My buddy Mike and I were full of, ambition and excitement to be there, but we didn't bring enough water. We didn't bring any chairs. We didn't bring enough shade. It got to be apparent very quickly that we were going to melt. So if it wasn't for our very cool neighbors around us, we definitely wouldn't have survived that first year. But it's because of those neighbors and the camaraderie that we had, even though it was sweltering that year. I went in 2007, first year. I went
Oh,
when they were giving out tickets still. Very hot that year, but in return, I got this amazing connection. I got to see Tool, the Police, the White Stripes. I mean, just an unforgettable year, but I definitely was not prepared. And by Sunday, I was beat down.
Yeah, I feel you
But it
on
was worth
that.
it.
It's a
I
marathon,
know.
not a sprint, right? They keep telling you that, and you don't realize it until you get there.
Absolutely true. You live and learn.
Yeah. How about
That's
Daniel and Charla? What about you guys?
you guys want to share your mistake story? I got one if you can't think of me.
I got one.
You go for it. Ladies first.
Okay, so first year. We got there on Wednesday, didn't we?
First year you went, yeah.
Okay, we got there on Wednesday, so you know. Okay, the next day, Thursday morning, I wake up, I start.
Oh, I know.
God, I just start downing beer and downing beer.
Before lunch.
And I get, I'm having a great time, and it's like 10 a.m. I end up vomiting in front of or behind the camper.
Oh, no.
And yeah, this was literally Thursday morning at 10 a.m.
You hadn't drink any water.
I didn't drink any water.
Yeah. The cardinal rule of
I was just like, oh, I can do this. Watch me. I can do this. It's fine. No, I had to take a nap. Charlie gave me some Pedialyte. And then the rest of the Bonnaroo was great. It was great. But
Now you rally after that.
Shout out Pedialyte, like the unofficial sponsor.
Charlotte saved
Oh, yeah.
me. Pedialyte. But I felt great after that. Had a spicy pie. Felt a lot better.
You're able to handle the rest of it really well. I had a similar thing. My computer went on screensaver. I had a similar issue. I run some 5Ks like during the summer. I like run a lot. And my first year I ran the Roo Run. It was the first year they had it. I was 28 at the time. I could handle that. But I did it again in 2015. And doing that run is fun because people wear costumes and troll you in a fun way. But I was beat for the rest of that Bonnaroo. Like, I enjoyed the Mumford & Sons show that night, but the rest of that Bonnaroo, I could barely make it. I learned to know my limits and conserve my energy after that.
Doesn't the Bonnaroovian do that every year?
Kyle? Yeah, Kyle does that. He's crazy.
He's not crazy. He's fit.
Well, yeah. Well, he was in the military, so he knows what's up. Yeah.
He knows what's up.
I mean, it's 80, 90 degrees running around Roo, and, sometimes you got to wear a bandana because of the dust. That's props to anyone that has completed the Roo Run.
If you can do it, do it.
Walk it.
If you think that you can't, you shouldn't do it.
And I've heard stories that every single year they've somehow messed up the route. So some people will start, and some people will end up going much further than they intended. Yeah. And only a few people end up getting to the end, not because they were too slow or whatever, but just because they all end up ending at different places all over the farm.
The funny thing to me is they also give prizes for the people that have the best costumes. And, some people, they'll put on a tutu or something fun that's not that bad. But I've seen people wear, like, full onesies. And, like, one year there was a guy in a full, like, Gumby suit. He won that year. He won free tickets next year because everybody was just like,
that's
dude,
so
respect.
Cool.
Because he had to be dying in there.
I'd totally do it for a free ticket.
I want to take some from the comments here. We have Gold Drips that says, "Can we talk about your greatest ground scores?" For those of you that don't know what ground scores is, basically is something you find on the ground, and it's basically yours. Score because
here, take my phone.
Charlotte's got to go in.
No, it's fine. I'm a
Share your
clown.
ground score.
A Chilbo Baggins.
What? What's a Chilbo Baggins?
You know, one of those things that was popular like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was brand new in the box and everything.
It's in the back of the bus back there.
What
It's,
about
it's
you?
one of
What
those,
about
the wind pouch that you sit on.
Our,
It's called a Chilbo Baggins?
Yes,
I've
Got it,
never
yeah.
heard that.
that was the brand.
friends at our camp call it the couch vagina.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look like that.
Yeah. What have you guys found?
Those, if you haven't taken it into Centeroo, it's the best thing. One, because like it's an instant like seat, and if you're close enough to the base, it vibrates the whole entire couch. And two, it's awesome to watch people try to like inflate that thing. It's my favorite pastime at Bonnaroo, and I give it a good 10 minutes to watch people struggle, and then I'll show them like the life hack of how to fill it up.
But if you can get it filled up, it's an excellent way to sleep. Instead of sleeping on the ground or on a bench or in an awkward sitting position like I usually do.
Chilbo Baggins is my new favorite name.
What is it?
Chilbro Baggins.
Chilbro Baggins. I'm that. Chris, ground scores. What's the most awesome thing you found?
Well, I mean, I found $20 on the first day of Bonnaroo 2012. I mean, that was pretty cool.
EMA.
There's nobody around, and there's $20 in there. I was like, that's
Like,
pretty cool.
There's got to be poop on it or something, right?
It wasn't signed, you know. But I have found a lot of amazing things at Bonnaroo. A lot of the stuff that I've returned to, lost and found and whatnot. But I found this postcard one time. It's a wooden postcard. It was stuck in one of the chain link fences. 2013, I found this card, and I thought about like bringing it back and just sticking it somewhere. I don't know. I might send it to somebody if they're interested. But yeah, just some weird carved wooden postcard.
That's awesome.
Stuck in a fence.
Wow, that's cool.
So yeah.
And
How about you, Ron? What have you found?
Casey?
Me, I don't know. I never really have my eyes down. I've probably left a lot of ground scores for people versus picked any up. So I'm sure people have found plenty of my things over the years that I've just lost while gallivanting around the Centeroo.
Thanks for the Chilbro Baggins, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. How about you, David?
You know, it's interesting because I literally have a bag of stuff that I've found over the years. And, you know, on the surface, it probably looks like mostly junk to most people. But, you know, of course, if you find something like that at Bonnaroo, it becomes a momentum. But it's kind of interesting because I thought I was the only one that picked up crap off the ground at Bonnaroo. But
No.
probably the two best things I found, which I returned to lost and found, was one year I found somebody's credit card, debit card. You know, and if they're like me, there's somebody who doesn't carry cash, and if you lose your debit card, then you're broke. One year I found somebody's wristband in Centeroo, and you know, these things I returned to lost and found, but I probably got like 4 pairs of sunglasses, you know, bangles, 3 earrings. Probably my favorite thing is this giant sort of 70s era disco star earring that I found on the ground. It's cool. But you know, I've been keeping all this stuff because, you know, someday, you know, I plan on making some sort of art project out of them. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be something cool, you know?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
So one thing I've been doing at festivals, and well, I've been making it like my own personal Bonnaroo tradition. Anytime there's a confetti cannon, I actually take home some of the confetti for myself on a very like sad day. I can just, you know, throw some in the air.
We need to get into a Flaming Lips show.
Oh, so here, at the end of this call, I'm gonna definitely just throw one out. So I have Flaming Lips confetti. I have Base Nectar confetti and the famous Tame Impala confetti from 2016. So
best night of my life.
It's awesome because like I look at it and just know if I really want to just like relive a moment, I'm just gonna just throw it in the air and then clean it back up.
That's clever.
And people may not know this, but Ron is a serial hoarder, so this this perfectly fits into his MO.
Yeah, I'm facing the camera this way because on the opposite end, like it's just like a wall of just a bunch of tchotchkes over the. So,
how about mistakes, Ron? I know you have some mistakes from previous ruse.
Oh yeah. You guys will definitely like know about this. You pack for the long haul. Like if you're gonna be out for a day, it gets really cold at night, and make sure you have enough clothes to really keep you warm. One year I wore nothing but these red sequiny bikini bottoms. Essentially, it was like cheerleader shorts, and I was like, all right, cool, day mode. And then it got night, and all I had was just my fanny pack and my red undies. And I didn't really have, I think it was like Sunday, my cash was out, and I couldn't immediately buy anything. So I'm just there, just shivering at the end of the night. And that's when I learned always like pack pants for the night. Like always think ahead and have a change of outfit.
Yeah, that's crucial. Yeah, I think every year for the past 3 or 4 years, I've always gotten a locker just for that reason. So I had somewhere to store, the change of clothes if needed.
Mm-hmm. From the comments, Tattoos by Becca says, "What's the craziest thing you have heard at Bonnaroo?" I know I've heard some crazy things like in the tents, and it's not what you, and it's not what you think. It's sure plenty of sex happens at Bonnaroo, and I mean it gets intense. But I know, sorry, low hanging fruit. But seriously though, like the wildest conversations are just like people up early in the morning just giggling and talking about nothing, and you're just like, what are they talking about? And I knew there was a good Twitter stream of just like the craziest thing you've heard a Wook say, or the craziest thing you overheard in a camp conversation. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys may have overheard.
Hey Ryan, how many Wooks does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know, Dan.
None, because it's already lit, fam.
Some random person came up and told us that joke.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. Sodded. I love it. Chris is like, what is going on? What has Bonnaroo become? And actually, yeah, I'm interested to hear like what Chris and David have to say about the wildest things they've heard.
All right. There's a lot I could offer here, but I think I'll go with 2017. That was the first year that I went to Bonnaroo by myself, which was an interesting experience for me. But so Sunday night, I get back to my campsite. Music's done. Everybody's getting that last minute groove or packing up and leaving. And so I opt to stay till Monday morning. I'm a big Monday morning Bonnaroo guy. I don't know, show of hands if you like to stay till Monday. Yeah.
Yep.
So I kind of pack up my stuff, not too crazy, but enough so I can get a jump start in the morning. And as I'm going to bed, the people adjacent to me in the next campsite just drop acid, and they got the giggles. They're waiting for it to really kick in as I'm going to bed. And so cut to me waking up the next morning, cars packed, all nice and neat. Look over at my neighbor's campsite, and they're just laid out everywhere. Everybody's passed out. There's crap just spread everywhere. The sun's coming up, and looks like they had a wonderful night, but they had a long day ahead of them. So Yeah.
Oh, that Monday drive. You gotta plan your weekend out.
Yeah.
And I know it was going to be problematic for everyone that's a big Tame Impala fan. So this year, oh man, David, what do you
Yo,
wildest things you've heard around? Anything come to mind?
I gotta be honest. I'm drawing a blank on that.
You're
got
always
nothing.
behind the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't. I've got nothing there for you, man.
You know what? It's all good.
You know, when we end this, I'm going to say, oh, I should have said this, or just remembered that, or
It'll
you know
come
what I
to
mean.
you,
And
yeah.
That's
kind of how it goes.
Well,
Actually, can I ask you guys a question?
yeah,
Am I allowed to do that or no?
absolutely.
How many of you guys shower while you're there over the weekend, and how many showers do you take while you're there? I'm curious.
Daniel, we'll start with you.
So we're a little spoiled because in the general admission RV section, it's not that far a walk to some of the not permanent showers, but kind of halfway in between the old timey army stall and the the nice showers. And if you go at a certain hour of the day, it's only $6 or $7. So I'll go maybe twice over the weekend. And it's stupid because you're sweating just as soon as you walk out, but it's nice for that 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shower every single day of Rue. So, yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at least get one shower in. We are kind of spoiled over in trying to go to bed. One of our campers, Dave Ferengo, shout out to Dave and Kathy, they have been setting up a camp shower in our campsite every year. And actually, one year we had a couple of them going, and they will heat the water and then run a pump into the shower, so you get hot running water in your camp shower. It's amazing. We have a sign up sheet in our campsite, and even with a few hundred people camping together, we still manage to get most people showered throughout the mornings.
It's speaking of showers, it's the funniest thing to see around. I guess it would be like whatever was the grind, Pod 7, the coffee house area. You can tell who the first time Bonnaroo people are, like, because they're like waiting in line, like waiting to pay $15 for a very like lukewarm shower that kind of just spritz at you. And then you see the people that are just bathing in the watering hole, which I don't recommend because people actually just want to drink there, and people are just I've seen girls just shaving just right there, like by the spigot. I'm like, can you like take a few steps back? But sometimes somewhere between there, the best life hack to do is just get yourself just a nice gallon of water, a couple milk jugs, and then go off to the side, bring some soap, dry off naturally because it's hot. Like, that's all you really need. Save some money, make some friends, ask them like, hey, can I borrow some body wash? Okay, here you go. Friend made.
Yeah. Bonner, Chris, how about you? Showers?
So I've been the past 4 years, I guess I've gone as a volunteer, and they have free showers for the volunteers. They're not particularly nice showers, but I go late at night when there's nobody there, and so I probably shower every day as a volunteer, but that's because I need to look pretty when I'm out in Center Roof for a little while. And then if I go as not a volunteer, I suppose I shower maybe twice while I'm there. I'll spring the $10 or whatever it is to pay. What I would like to say though is that the shower facilities are inconsistent there at Bonnaroo, and I don't really care because I'm not in it for the whiz bang features of shower technology. I just want gravity fed water. But I paid extra one year to have the music. You get the ambient music while you take the shower.
I remember that.
That was cool.
The lights and everything. And so I paid whatever it was. It was like $25 or whatever, stupid, for the shower. And not only did the music not work and the lights didn't work, the water pressure there wasn't any water pressure.
Oh, no.
I had to like shower in the drizzle, and definitely 1 out of 10 stars. Yeah.
No. Not a glowing Yelp rating there.
I wanted some bass while I was in my shower mode.
How about
Hey,
you,
Chris, I
Ron?
just got sent something you should see. I have never seen this.
What's
Uh, our mutual buddy Jay, the Bonner Rooster, just posted this. I have never seen this photo. It's the three of us in front of the bus in 2018, I guess.
Ah,
Nice. Jay
awesome.
Jay Hajensky from is he in New York?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, man, Bonner Rooster.
He is a good dude, and I want everybody to send him good vibes. He's had he's had a little bit of a rough year. I shouldn't speak for him, but like he had some health issues and a lot of stuff going on, and he is the sweetest guy, and he loves the community so much. He's been a little bit more active online the past couple of days. I'm so glad to hear from him.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you, Bon Rooster.
Yeah, the Bonner Rooster, like Jay was really active in the year we were planning for that pizza party during Jungle. Like he was part of like the little Avenger crew we assembled to like do all that stuff, and like I give so much praise to him, and I'm glad he's doing much better. I'm gonna have to reach out to him.
Well, yeah, we're coming up on the last few minutes here. So, yeah, real quick, Ron, let's hear about your shower adventures.
I will yield my shower adventures question to just taking one more comment from here. It says, what's the most magical moment you guys had at Rue? I think we can end on that, and I think that's why we all come here anyway. Like, just there is like that magic on the farm. It sounds really just lame and cliche, but you don't know until you go, and I'm sure each of us here has a really cool magical story. And feel free to take the stage, whoever, ponder it.
I have one.
Who's that?
Who was that? Brooklyn?
Hi. Yes, it's me. Okay, so it was my first year, 2017. I can't remember if it was U2 or Red Hot Chili Peppers. We were leaving that show from the wet stage. You know that tiny pass from like the wet stage to like the main center room?
Mm-hmm.
So we were going through there, we were leaving that show, and we we're heading to Flume. So I have extreme claustrophobia, and I was stuck with all of these guys in the middle of a crowd that was like the biggest crowd I've ever seen. And it was like I was getting smushed against people. We were all like just, it was a clusterfuck. But so I was like stressing out. I was like about to lose my shit. And then somebody from the back started yelling, "Just keep swimming! Just keep swimming!" And then the whole, like everybody just started saying, "Just keep swimming!" And it like made my anxiety go away. And I started shouting with them. And that right there was like the most magical moment. Yeah.
Awesome. Real quick, let's hear a couple more before it cuts us off here.
All right, I got one. I think there's been some unbelievable music moments that we've all shared, all right? And there's probably 1,000 of them that we could talk about tonight. One of them that comes to mind for me was Lionel Richie, which is weird. I didn't enjoy Lionel Richie during my childhood, but at Bonnaroo, he was amazing. And the last song that he sang was the one that he co-wrote with Michael Jackson called "We Are the World." And yeah, a bunch of us sang that at Bonnaroo, and it felt very magical. But I think the undisputed champion for me has to be Paul McCartney singing "Hey Jude."
Yeah.
That's where I was going, man.
If I hear that song on the radio, it gives me goosebumps because of that moment. It was something I treasure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can mirror what Chris said. That for me was the absolute standout. I literally had tears in my eyes by the end of that song. I mean, I had goosebumps. You know, to hear 85,000 people sing the lyrics to that song from start to finish was just unbelievable, you know?
That set list was like a 1-2 punch because he went from, that and Live and Let Die with the giant pyro. It was insane.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was epic.
Yeah, unbelievable. That was unbelievable.
Daniel, do you have a story? Or most magical moment?
Yeah, two real quick. I will never shut up about this until I'm 100 years old, but Friday night of 2016 was the best night of my life. Like going from that M83 show to LCD sound system to Tame Impala. Like, and there was something, I mean, they branded it that way, but there literally was something magical that you can't describe and you can't really know unless you were there. The vibe that year was just insane. I will never forget that night as long as I live. And the other, that probably is my favorite Bonnaroo story in memory ever, is the crazy repeat show that we all collabed on to have a couple of years ago. Ooh, that was my favorite because, first of all, that band is awesome. They're the coolest people ever. But also, like, we all made that happen. It shouldn't have happened. Like, there was, like, it was magic making that happen. To get all the stuff that we needed to put on a full band out in the campgrounds that was on the lineup and was as good as those guys were. It was, you know, it wasn't just everybody at the bus. It was, you know, the Roo Shoot. It was the Bonner Rooster. It was Camp Red Roo. It was a little bit of everybody that collaborated and made that happen. Like, just kind of like a Burning Man type event. And I'll never forget that one either.
Yeah.